Who died? Who died? Who died and made or decided to make the European culture, European traditions, and European customs the way of the world or the global standard? Who did? I mean, a lot of people are abandoning their own cultures, abandoning their own traditions, abandoning their own even religions in pursuit of becoming westernized. I don't know if westernization or being westernized or the idea of westernization is a level up. I don't know if that's even a real thing. I don't know if that's even a good thing. I don't know if that's a better thing. From what I do understand and from what I do see, a lot of people tend to want to speak English, French, German, Italian, especially those that have been colonized, you know. You really feel like for you to make it or for you to be seen as making it in the world, you've got to sound European, dress European, look European, have this European outlook on life. And I don't know if it's a good thing. The reason I'm saying this is because as the world becomes westernized, modernized, it's sad to see cultures, traditions die out, you know? It's sad because our ancestors used to be proudly, uniquely African or Asian or Arabian or Latino or whatever, Aboriginal, you know? They have a proud history, proud stories, they have a proud heritage. They come from a lineage of strong warriors, caregivers, nurturers, and all that seems to get lost in translation or transition as the younger generation move away from tradition towards westernization. Now, I keep saying it's a bad thing. I keep saying it's an awful thing because I feel like you're losing the essence of who you really are. Now, I could be wrong, but then again, I could be right, depending on the way you see things. Now, if you see things my way, then I'm saying you could be wrong. But if you don't see things my way, then I could be right. Or am I? The sad reality is this: music, TV, videos, YouTube, the internet, it's just a barrage of propaganda with media outlets and big media bosses pushing certain narratives to suit their own agendas. And the sad thing about it is that they are shaping the world to suit themselves and what they want. It's not about what you want. It's not about what we want. It's what about they want. And they're pushing this agenda because they have something to gain from it. And as a matter of fact, the main thing they want to get is to turn all of us into minions, right? A form of control over societies. Now, you cannot control societies if the societies speak different languages from you. You cannot control societies if they practice different traditions from you. And it's most difficult to get a society under control if they practice a different totally religion from you, right? So now you're seeing things such as like I would call it like almost ethnic cleansing of cultures when it comes to modernization. Even if you look at this new trend of urban renewal, right? It's becoming so like gentrification is the word. In that sense, you can actually see the eradication of people that were prior doing their own things, particular to their culture and their race, whatever the case was. Now it's almost like everyone is almost lining up and being shepherded towards a certain way of thinking, a certain way of doing things, and a certain way of seeing things. Now, if you go to Asia, you'll be shocked that even though they don't speak English, but you can tell that the Chinese young kids, the South Koreans, the Japanese young kids, the Taiwanese young kids, the young kids from Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, India, Pakistan, you name all these countries, Africa, South America, the Arabian Peninsula, they, even though they don't speak a word of English or French or Italian or Greek or what, which other one am I living on? German, Dutch, they seem to want to conform to the European way of life. Now that is why I keep saying, who died and made the European way of life the global standard? Traditional clothing that our ancestors used to wear, I'm not saying like skins, you should go around wearing skins and stuff. No, 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 no. There's no time, and I mean, we're progressing forward in the world, right? So wearing skins and that, totally out, totally irrelevant, totally not on brand in today's modern age, right? But a lot of a lot of people shy away from wearing the traditional garb, right? So I could simply say the westernization of our youth today, right, takes away from you wearing a suit, right? But the suit has to be an Armani suit, has to be a Hugo Boss suit, has to be some sort of westernized suit. Why can't we have an African suit? I don't say African like in the sense that the design, the overall design is going to be African. It can be a Western look, but let's put an African touch to it. You know, like I see Nigerians. Nigerians are kind. A lot of Nigerians, I must say, especially the Muslim Nigerians. I mean, they particular in their Muslim dress code. Most of them wear their Muslim attire. On most, yeah, most of the time they wear their Muslim attire. If not all the time, most of the time they have their Muslim attire on. And that's good to see because it shows that not many people are that heavily influenced by this westernization and this Western culture of things. So, and it's not, and it's not that common in a lot of other African countries. Like South Africa is basically a mini version, a mini me of the United States. Yeah, most of the youngsters do not. Well, most of the youngsters hardly wear traditional clothing. Most, most wear. I mean, it's basically a young United States. Basically, even the talking now English is now becoming Americanized. Everything's just so it's different. You know what I mean? They're just totally different from what their parents and grandparents and forefathers used to be. So that's what I'm saying. Who died and made that westernization the global standard? Now, is it a bad thing or a good thing? It's not a bad thing if you're just wearing the clothing, you're trying to flirt with the culture here and there, but you're still sticking to your own culture. Because what I do know for a fact is the Western countries and the Western culture will never give that up to adopt a new foreign culture that they have no idea of what it. They may like elements of it, they may take elements of it, but they certainly will not adapt fully to that culture. They'll not leave their own dress code and follow another culture's dress code, right? So what I'm saying basically is it a good thing to follow these Western trends and leaving your own tradition, culture, and cultural norms behind? Are we getting lost? Are we getting coerced? Are we easily influenced? That we tend to forget where we come from, how we eat, what we drink, and now substituting our culture and traditional norms for the West, for Western traditions, for Western values. And the worst thing is this, right? We tend to want to love going the Western route because we're thinking we're modernizing and we're becoming progressive and we're becoming more civilized and all these fancy big English words you want to use. And yet, on the flip side of that, the same people we're cozying up to don't even want us in their culture, don't even want us to be practicing their things, don't even want us dating their women and men. They frown on us, you know what I mean? And it's sad. I heard, well, I was on YouTube the other day and I was watching these videos of racism, and it said that a lot of the white racist Americans all had one thing to say to the non-whites, like the blacks and the Latinos, and they're all saying one thing: go back to your country. We don't want you here. This is our country. And I was thinking, like, wow, dude, you stole this country from the Indians. It's not your country. But listen to that. Yeah, I'm dressing like you. I'm even talking your language. I'm doing everything like you do, like you. And you still don't like it? Now, what more if you had to try to conform to my tradition and my culture? How racist and ignorant and mad would you be? Now, think about that for a second. A lot of white people, a lot of them, a majority of them, couldn't care less about learning a foreign language. It just is not in tune with whoever they want to be. You know what I mean? It will never happen in a billion years. And yet, they want you to conform. And you should conform if you want to survive in this world, westernized world. Let me know what you think in the comment sections below. Holla!